In fact, the world has long wondered, how does Vladimir Putin, well into his 70s, still look so young and fit? Martial arts maybe, cosmetic fillers probably, but a leaked video with Xi Jinping may have revealed what's really on Putin's mind. As Xi and Putin walked between Kim Jong Un in Tiananmen, while they all met for China's Victory Day parade, we understand live microphones caught a very unusual exchange between Putin and Xi. It was not about geopolitics, but about immortality, how to live forever. Putin was heard saying, with the development of biotechnology, human organs can be continuously transplanted. People could get younger as they grow older, maybe even become more, they could live longer, they could become immortal. That's what Putin said. To which Xi replied, this century, it may be possible to live 150 years. Then in Mandarin, he responded, at 70, in this age, in fact, at this generation, 70 years, we still feel like a child. If I could play out that audio for you, though it's not in English, but listen in. Well, that was an exchange there, candid exchange between Putin and Xi Jinping. Remember, for Putin, longevity is not a casual interest. He's directed his government to focus on life expectancy. He himself is a hardcore fitness freak. In fact, Russian state labs have been asked, like Rosatom, to explore 3D printed human organs. Experts warn, though, that replacing human organs will not stop the brain and body from aging, which is why the next frontier is not just lifespan, but health span. The years that you live free from disease. That's more important. Medicine is shifting from reactive treatment to proactive, data-driven wellness, personalized diets, continuous tracking of early interventions. This is what basically the protocol is to live a longer life. Remember, Bryan Johnson, the American tech entrepreneur, he spends millions of rupees or dollars on extreme anti-aging experiments. He's determined to live forever and look younger. Even he's in his late 40s now, touching 50. And his biometrics show as if he's a 20-year-old. That's how much he's done to himself. Of course, through science and all sorts of cosmetic interventions, he's managed to look that young. But will that help him be immortal? How long will that help him stay alive and young? Well, science really, can it make us immortal? The question is, of course, still being researched extensively. Or is the real challenge here not extending life, but extending the quality of life? And that's precisely what health experts now talk about today. It's not about looking young. It's about feeling fit at whatever age you are. You've got to be mobile. Even if you're at 150 years of age, if you've changed your organs and you're living so long, are you fit enough in your brain, your health, your mind and body? Is it fit enough to actually be alive at 150? Or you're just vegetated state? Two different things. Joining me tonight to give us a little more, Dr. Manjari Chandra, Senior Consultant, Nutritional Medicine of Everhope Oncology and Max Healthcare. We also have Dr. Ravi Mohanka, Director, Liver Transplant, Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital, Mumbai. Thank you both of you for joining us. Let me first start with Dr. Manjari Chandra. Manjari, please give us your take on what we see. It's of course, has geopolitical connotations. Imagine Putin wanting to govern forever, wanting to be the president of Russia forever. Xi Jinping having similar ambitions, says that in today's day, anything is possible, both having a very candid chat. And they're very serious. Both of them, in their respective countries, in China and Russia, have extensively researched into methods of living long, organ transplant, cosmetic surgeries. They have the best of it. Do you believe that just organ transplant, changing your kidneys or anything else, can actually help you live a long, long life up to 150? Is it that easy if you have the money?
Good evening. No, thank you for the question. That's a little far-fetched to say, but there are a lot of scientific research and backing now. There's enough information to make us understand that the human health is really dependent on our choices, our daily choices of nutrition, lifestyle, movement, circadian rhythm, the toxins we expose our body to, the epigenetic factors that will cause the changes in our genetic predisposition. So I may be born to a certain set of parents with a certain set of genes, but whether I will succumb to the diseases that they have, or whether I can make my own trajectory in terms of health, is something that science is now being able to prove more and more. And we know that continuous good choices of lifestyle, nutrition, sleep intervention, stress management, toxin reduction, these basic principles also have a long role to play, not just in disease prevention, but in longevity, as we call it, which essentially means that you not just live longer, but you live healthier. You live with optimal health without being dependent on medications or any form of medical intervention. And that is, I think, one of the things that a lot of people are looking uh, at work, in our clinical work. Of course, a lot of people talk to us about longevity, about overall better health. The beauty of this is that it still boils down to basics. It still boils down to those denominators which govern our bioregulatory systems, the way our body responds to what we do. And it's quite doable even for most people, even though they may not have access to the best technology, the best team of physicians and doctors, which, of course, Mr. Putin and other world leaders have. But even for normal people, we do have an option of giving them, a very good long lifespan. There are a lot of bioregulatory systems that have been detailed studies. We have the mTOR pathway, we have the EMPAK pathway, we have a lot of longevity pathways that we've been able to decode. And we also know what factors modulate them. So yeah, it's not conceptual, it is there, but I think in this case it is a little too far-fetched.
Okay. Dr. Ravi, you know,
Yeah.
organ transplant, you'd be the best to speak on that. How easy is it, or how difficult is it, as Putin makes it sound as if it's nothing? If you have the money, and today science is so advanced, and they're anyway looking into 3D organ design. I'm not too sure how or where that's going, but give us a little sense. It's so difficult to find an organ in the first place, and here you have Russia looking into 3D organs.
So organ transplants have been immensely successful in the last 50 years. We have made such great progress. Uh, you know, uh, Typically, organ which used to last for a few years in the past, now it lasts you a lifetime. And rejections have become less of a problem as we go along, as we have better medicines. And now it's almost always possible to predict how long a certain organ will last after a transplant, and even repeated transplants are quite successful now. So, having said all this, there is uh, a lot of focus now on not organ replacement but prevention of damage at an earlier stage, and that can be achieved with non nanobots, and also with some stem cell therapy in certain situations for tissue repair, which is where regenerative medicine is heading. So prevention of organ damage, or and replacement of a certain organ when they reach end stage failure, those are the two things that are making a big impact. Although at one point Ray Kurzweil has predicted that by 2030 we will reach immortality. We are very close to 2030, and it doesn't look like we are going to get there. But
But are we
even
getting there in 2050?
think so. So he did
We're
predict
on
that by
track.
2050 we should, yeah. And by 2050 it is very likely. In fact, there are certain organs which are single function organs, such as your pancreas, your kidney, and even your heart. So those organs are going to be, you can have a mechanical device which can replace those functions. Other organs such as liver that do multiple functions, it's more difficult. But there is a lot of progress happening, especially in bioprinting. although we haven't reached there, but things are going to change very dramatically in the
So,
next
in your view,
decade.
Putin doesn't sound very far-fetched.
Oh yeah, he has access to technology which we don't really currently do, and experiments that they do are very closely guarded, especially in China and Russia compared to what the rest of the world does. So they have access to stem cells which are even in the US and other parts of the world we don't have access to. So
Okay,
there is
but
a lot
what's
of
that
potential.
one thing? What's that one thing beyond organ transplant? What's that one thing that limits the human body from defying age?
So
My,
it's your day-to-day living practically, like it was discussed. But if you look at cellular level, then inside each chromosome there is something called as telomere, and the length of the telomere is what determines how long you're going to live. So the longer the length of telomere, the longer the person lives. And there are now people doing experiments where they do a certain intervention and look at the telomere length and stuff like that. So there are a lot of work happening in wellness space, in longevity space, especially in the last 10 years. And we're going to get there. What we don't know is when.
okay, realistically, 150 sounds not so far because a lot of Indians are living up to 150. I wouldn't say lots, but there are cases, and they're doing absolutely fine. At least 125. I've heard of a friend's grandfather who's 125, and still understanding, walking, talking, just being. He's still alive. So it's not so far-fetched in your view, and that makes us wonder if immortality is really going to be the new reality. But yet, even at 150 also, you'll still die, right? After 150?
At this point, yes.
Or will there be a way to live even in mummy state?
No, so I think it's not worthwhile living in a
Yeah,
mummy state. It's either you live well or you don't. But
yeah.
and that's where all the research is headed.
And that's precisely what our question was today, that it's not just about long life, it's about being fit. And also, people think that looking young when you're older is really the aim, but that's not the aim. You could look however, but it's all about how you feel inside that really matters. So finally, Dr. Manjari, to extend your life, can we truly preserve, if even if we do the organ transplant and whatnot, and our body is fit, can our mind be fit? How far do you believe our brain function can carry us forward?
Yeah, that's also extremely interesting, actually, as he was also mentioning that we have telomeres, which are the end of our chromosomes in our DNA, and the telomere length is a marker of the length of our lives, the health of our lives, and how long we live. There are similar other markers. A very interesting pathway is the sirtuin pathway, which is essentially the housekeeping genes. So in our body, in our DNA, in our genetic material, we have some genes which are SIRT genes. They are the housekeeping genes. And this sirtuin pathway is dependent on something called nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, the NAD, which is the building block to the sirtuins. Now, we know for sure that there are certain foods that can improve sirtuin activity. We also know for sure that long hours of fasting and controlling the frequency of eating can improve your sirtuin activity, which means that if you're able to choose lifestyle and food and nutrition in a way that you activate these pathways like the sirtuins or the length of the telomeres, the biochemical level or the bioregulatory level at which our body ages does get altered. So you're able to push that envelope a little bit, and you're able to sort of activate those pathways that deaccelerate aging. And that is where the science already knows enough, and we also thankfully know what the interventions in lifestyle and nutrition look like. So I'm really not the expert to talk about organ transplant, so I wouldn't really say anything there. But what I know, and I've been doing, and we've been doing and reading and studying in integrative functional medicine, is that there are a lot of pathways that can be addressed. I'll also give you another smaller example. there's a lot of talk about eating a lot of protein, but do you know that when a person consumes excess protein, they also activate aging because they activate a pathway called the mTOR pathway, which is an aging pathway. Similarly, for people who have visceral fat, they also have accelerated aging because they are activating the inflammatory pathways. So there are a lot of
Right.
bioregulatory pathways that can be addressed with lifestyle and nutritional choices, which are quite primitive in nature. The choices are very basic to make, but the impact is quite significant. And this science exists. And, if it was put properly and, and put around to people, it really gives people a chance to live longer and live
Interesting.
disease.
Very, very well said. I think both of you all have articulated this very well. Both believe if you follow the right practice, right lifestyle, you could very well live a long decade. I mean, long, much into a century. If at all you're healthy, you're living a good lifestyle, then you don't even need an organ transplant to live long. And I think many Indians have proven that. A good lifestyle is what's key to even keep your brain health good. Thank you very much for joining us with those thoughts. Let me cut across to all the top stories on Day Tonight. Let me start with West Bengal Assembly. We're looking at the ugliest face-off that happened today, the BJP calling it the Black Day. Uproar in West Bengal Assembly. It was so severe, allegedly left BJP Chief Whip Sankar Ghosh injured. In fact, the House descended into chaos with slogans, barbs, disruptions over illegal immigration, Bengali language row and allegations of voter theft. 5 BJP MLAs, including Ghosh and Agnimitra Paul, were suspended and dragged out by the marshals. The ruckus has only escalated when a bottle was reportedly hurled from the ruling benches. The drama peaked as an ambulance rushed into the assembly after Ghosh's health deteriorated. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee tore into the BJP, branding them corrupt vote chores and warning that one day not a single BJP MLA will be left in the assembly. These were the words spoken. She even urged the speaker to telecast BJP's protest live, calling this outright hooliganism. In fact, suspended leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari responded saying legal action will be taken against Mamata Banerjee for this.
करने के लिए एसआईआर रोकने के लिए और देश से घुसपैठिया इलीगल इन्फिल्ट्रेटर्स को हटाने के लिए जो कोशिश भारत सरकार कर रहा है उसको रोकने के लिए उन्होंने ये प्रस्ताव लाया, लेकिन एलओपी को सस्पेंड किया। उन्होंने सोचा था जो मैं एक बोलूंगा और पूरा बंगाल को भ्रम पैदा करूंगा, गुमराह करने का काम करूंगा, लेकिन बीजेपी का सब एमएलए एक साथ आज राष्ट्रवादी सिपाही होने का नाते सब एलओपी का भूमिका ले लिया और ममता बनर्जी के खिलाफ अंदर बाहर बहुत आज जो मुद्दा उठाना चाहता ये था ममता स्वैराचारी, ममता चोर, ममता भ्रष्टाचारी, ममता देश विरोधी, ये नारा हम लोग उठाया।
All right, cutting across to Manipur, fresh tripartite pact has been signed between the centre, the state government and the Kuki-Zo groups to restore peace and stability in Manipur. The suspension of operations agreement comes with strict ground rules. Territorial integrity of Manipur will be maintained. National Highway 2 will be kept open for free movement. And military camps will be relocated and reduced. Security forces will now verify cadres to weed out foreign nationals, while a joint monitoring group will oversee implementation. The Kuki-Zo Council has promised full cooperation, including moving camps to help normal life return. Officials have warned only any violation of the pact will invite firm action. This development comes, of course, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to visit the northeast, first inaugurating Mizoram's Bairabi-Sairang railway line while heading to Manipur. The pact is being seen as a major step towards healing ethnic divides, and that in fact erupted in May 2023 when clashes broke out between Meiteis and Kukis. With Manipur now under President's rule since February, the new agreement signals a fresh attempt at reconciliation and peace. Now in Hyderabad, she teams, the women-led teams of police in Hyderabad have shown just how serious they are about women's safety during Ganesh festivities. In the last 7 days alone, nearly 900 miscreants were caught near the iconic Khairatabad Ganesh Pandal. Of them, 55 men were caught red-handed, harassing and molesting some women devotees. Police say many offenders were counseled, but repeat violators have been booked and will now face court. Round-the-clock security has been deployed through the immersion processes and the procession process. The She team, women team in Hyderabad, the in-charge Lavanya has issued stern warning, saying zero tolerance for harassment, strict action against anyone indulging in such acts. Women have also urged, in fact, the police there also urging women to call 100 immediately if they face any such behavior. We'd certainly say kudos to Hyderabad police and the She teams for standing guard and ensuring women can celebrate safely. We are really hoping that women police teams are there round the clock, because we know that it's not just such events that you have these perpetrators lurking. Women face harassment on regular days too, in buses, on roads, outside colleges. We're just hoping that people take collective effort to crack down the way women police have done it in Hyderabad. Men should also pull up those other men who are preying. Well, if men think that they can get away with such behavior, at least the Hyderabad police here is proof that they can't slip away so easy. All these men now, 55 of them behind bars. The rest of them who have promised to correct their behavior have been let go. Habitual offenders stay in the police station for the long haul. Now, in Karnataka, after R.V. Deshpande's shocker in his statement, you're looking at another Karnataka MLA, BJP MLA BP Harish from Karnataka, making some insulting remarks against the Superintendent of Police Uma Prashant. An FIR has been filed against the MLA at KTJ Nagar police station following a formal complaint lodged by the SP. In fact, the BJP MLA, the Harihar MLA, reportedly made the remarks during a press conference accusing the officer of ignoring him at an official event while extending special treatment to Congress leader. Harish's comments reportedly comparing the SP to a Pomeranian dog waiting at the gate has drawn strong criticism and sparked an FIR. Let's listen in to what he said.
ಆ ಎಸ್ ಪಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರಂತೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಶಾಸಕರು ಸಭೆಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಮುಖ ತಿರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಅದೇ ಶಾಮನೂರ್ ಮಂತಂದವರು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಗಂಟೆ ಗೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕಾದು ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಸೇಮ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆ ಪಾಮ್ರಿನ್ ನಾಯಿ ತರ ವರ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡಿ.
Has been registered under multiple sections of BNS. We know Harish, of course, has justified this. Of course, this comes also a second case after Karnataka's R.V. Deshpande also made a very sexist remark against a journalist who asked for a hospital to be built. He said, when your time comes of when you get pregnant, we'll make a hospital at that point, which was derogatory, sexist and highly condemned. All right, let me cut across to now the Supreme Court on monsoon mayhem. As we're looking at rains wreaking havoc across multiple states across the country, the Supreme Court has taken cognizance of it. Let me tell you, the Supreme Court has looked at very closely, taking suo moto cognizance of the devastating floods and landslides across Punjab, Himachal, Uttarakhand and Jammu and Kashmir. Chief Justice B.R. Gawai, along with Justices J.V. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra, highlighting disturbing visuals showing timber and logs flowing downstream, raising fears of illegal trees felling and chaos, basically saying that it is all man-made, this destruction. The court noted unprecedented rains and flooding have caused widespread destruction, particularly in villages, at farmlands in Punjab. Notices have now been issued to affected states, directing them to respond within 3 weeks to see what kind of illegal work has happened in terms of illegal tree felling and illegal construction. That's what led to this chaos. Central agencies and National Highways Authority of India have also been made parties in this case. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has remarked, "We have interfered with nature so much that now it is giving back. The court has requested photographs and videos from flood-hit areas to assess the environmental damage and unplanned development. The matter will be heard again in 3 weeks' time. Supreme Court emphasizing that there is urgent need to balance development with environmental protection.